We're going back to our ancestral root. Whatever we can use to protect ourselves, we have already come together that this is the way forward.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining me in this video. This is no longer a news or an issue to be treated with kiss glove. The Ooni of Ife, the custodian of the Yoruba custom and culture, has made his position very clear and declared war against an impending Fulani jihadists that is pushing down to the southwest. He said, we are going back to our roots. We are no longer going to accept whatever form of invasion or conquest that have been schemed and strategically advancing across the Yoruba regions. I will leave you with this exciting video. He made it very clear in one of the interviews with Channels Television. Ooni of Ife is not just an ordinary Oba or ordinary king. His Eminence, the custodian of the Yoruba culture and heritage. He understood the time and the seasons we're in. He's not messing words or trying to play politics about this. And I've sent serious signal to the Sultan of Sokoto to caution his boys because he said they have gotten an intel of the developments and this is imminent and they are going back to their roots. You know what it means? The traditional way of protecting and safeguarding the entire territory or the region or Yoruba Empire. Well, that is quite interesting. For the doubting Thomas, some might say this is fake news and the rest of them. Will His Eminence, with the caliber of personality and by virtue of his royalty and position, will not be joking with such issues of security. It's not a matter of joke. Once Ooni of Ife is involved, I mean, having signal, having raised alarm, you have triggered a red line alert for the Yoruba warriors and every other traditionalists who is involved, directly involved, to get ready, prepare, fortify yourselves for the impending doom or impending jihad that is being brought on the Yoruba people. It is no longer a joke. This is not about the political gathering of governors of the southwestern region. No. This is beyond what we can just wish away. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Into the southern region of the country. Is that what you have discovered? Are you worried as a leader?
Yes, we have discovered that. And it's that's the truth. And that's the reason why we are coming together. We are enforcing and strengthening our local guards. We are very strong. We traditional institutions, we're very strong when it comes to that. And this current government has already worked and declared that they will work with the local hunters. We have forest guards now. They are very efficient. We don't joke with them. We're going back to our ancestral root. Whatever we can use to protect ourselves, we have already come together that this is the way forward.
Are you going to, for a moment, think about getting, and they were very, very instrumental into the security in some part of Southwest, the OPC, Odua People's Congress, and so there are other hunters associations here and there, and I know that the Yoruba culture is such that you have a Balogun who leads the hunters in case there is any incursion. But a lot of Yoruba land, a lot of communities in Yoruba land in the southwest region have now been badly decimated by some of these bandits. And what are you learning, Your Imperial Majesty, about this? What are the intelligence coming to you? What are the Yoruba people who you govern? What do they need to know? Is there an imminent danger on the race or your people?
Absolutely, for both the race and our people, because we are very accommodating. If you see the southwestern region of our country, we're the most accommodating. You see the blend of all ethnics in Nigeria within the southwest region. So for us, we are facing it headlong. We have intelligence information. They are coming closer to us, and we're going to send them back. It has happened in the past history, in the 18th century, in the 17th century. We have actually done that. We've never been conquered, and it's not going to happen again. So that's the reason why we are aligning with the political class, which is our governors, that we are behind you. Leave us to our people. We are close to them. We will work together to guide them. We understand our forest very well through our people, and we will continue to just back us up. And so far, so good. We've all aligned for that. And that's what we're doing.
Now, for the doubting Thomas, it is now very clear. It has dawned on all Nigerians that what is coming on Nigerian indigenous communities are bigger than what they could envisage. For those who are still snoring, dozing off, and wishing that that could just be a mere uh, uh, fantasy and the rest of them. The reality is done on several communities who perhaps have been living in denial over the decades, even when the likes of Mazen Namde Kano raised concerns about the impending calamity or doom that is about to befall indigenous communities. Melafia also raised this concern before his demise, and that these guys are preparing for war. And this war is more closer than we ever have thought, and it's unfortunately at the doorsteps of different indigenous communities, and they are almost trapped by the realities, and unfortunately may not have anywhere to run to. Their own ancestral homes has been infiltrated. They have been surrounded, encompassed, and waiting just to get the signal to strike. And in the process of this, we're seeing cases, escalations of such atrocity, kidnapping, adoption of even the Yoruba kings. We've seen that of Ifolodo, one of the Yoruba king in Kwara West, was adopted. He's a Yoruba man, and the signal is very clear. The message is understood by the Ooni of Ife. The core of recent, the Kakamfo or the Gani Adams, who happens to be, is it the warlord or so, and raise concerns. There are intents that these people are moving down west, strategically positioning themselves for a possible run over. They want to overrun and collapse the entire cultural heritage and possibly dislodge the Yorubas and take over their ancestral home. That is what they are coming. They are not coming for anything pally or joke. It is not just about religion. They are coming for exclusive uh, ethnic dominance and conquest. And some of the Yorubas have been deceived that because they practice religion, Islamic religion, and the rest of them, but the people kidnapped Islamic or Muslim communities has been attacked by these assailants, by these same people. They've been pushed out of their ancestral homes, Muslim communities in the southwestern region. So it is not about religion, but some who were deceived to believe that the Muslims are protected. Just as what happened in 1991, I was born in Kano State. I was then a very young boy then when the Bunki crisis erupted, and eventually so many people were killed. We are living in the compound. We also have some Yoruba neighbors who perhaps was misled to have thought that they are after the Igbos. The main target there was Igbos, But once you're not a Fulani or Hausa man, you are the target of such attack. They then presume that the attack was against the Igbos, being that they are also Muslims, they profess as Muslims, and eventually, when the deeds are done, and one way or the other, we find our way to the barracks, Bukavu barracks in Kano State, and they remains, as people who possibly may have been shielded by their faith or religion. When it matters most, these people trunked in and massacred them. Some who eventually climbed the ceiling to hide themselves. I mean, they were burned down. Some are shouting we are Yorubas, but eventually they were set ablaze. They killed them, calling them Aruna Bererebe. They are fictive Muslims. That is what it means. Bererebe is fictive Muslim. Aruna, something that is fictive, forbidden, and the rest of them. You can imagine what happened, but they never lived to tell the story. So when the Ooni of Ife was raising concerns, it is not a subject of religion. No, it is about survival, preservation of the Yoruba culture and heritage. They are coming for the culture, the heritage, and ancestral homes. They want to destroy the Yoruba culture and neglect that if that is possible, and they force the masses with their own religion and system of monarchical system of governance and control. That is just what they're coming. And His Eminence is already aware of these realities, just as he cited from the video you just watched. He said, you people have known it is not the first time it happened in 1917 or so, or it happens in 17th and in 18th and the rest of them. So they are conversant and aware with the versions and the intention to overrun and subjugate the entire Yoruba kingdom. It is quite understandable, and nothing can. So that is just the case. And if you are well armed with history and a good student of history, you understand what the Ooni of Ife was referring to was history. I mean, things that happened eventually, and the approach of the forefathers on solving such issues. He said, we are going back to our roots. We are not just unfamiliar with these realities. No, it has happened in the past, and being that it's being called up at this particular time, we are going back to our root. We have a way of defending ourselves as being handed over by our forefathers, and possibly we are getting ourselves ready and prepared to defend ourselves and to fight against the Fulani jihadists, whose mission is to subdue and force their dominance on the people, just as how they succeeded with the Hausa communities. The Hausa communities of recent are beginning to realize, wow, we don't have any platform or forum where the Hausa interest could be protected. The Arewa was just serving the interests of the Fulani caliphates and the Fulani political elites and oligarchs. It does not foster or integrate other ethnic nationalities, including the Hausas that accommodated the Fulanis within their terrain. And they suddenly realized that even the political and economic uh, prowess lies at the purview of an average Fulani man. The governors, the power brokers in the north are mainly the Fulanese. So they suddenly realize, wow, we have been subjuged and we have been deceived to believe that Islam is what unites us, but definitely there is hidden intentions and agenda that have been sponsored and nursed over the decades. And today we have been skipped out of events. Today, they no longer identify themselves as Hausas, but they kept out of. So we are Fulanese. We are Fulani nationalists, and there's nothing anyone can do. Then they are now realizing suddenly that, wow, we have been robbed over these years. We thought we are working with our close allies and people who should understand us, who we gave the opportunity to cohabit, and the rest of them, they have destroyed our monarchical system. The Daura happens to be the seat of caliphate of the Hausas, the seat of power of the Hausas, but has been displaced. You no longer hear Daura, and again, it has been relegated, if I may use the words, because its potency is no longer felt. The Sadikin Hausawas, who happens to be the traditional monarchical system of governance and leadership or rulership in the north, is no longer prominent. I mean, being displaced and dislodged by the Sultan, Daura, I mean, Sokoto being the seat of caliphate of the Fulanese. So you now see the Sultan of Sokoto taking decisions when it comes to do with culture and tradition. Now, protecting the Fulani and projecting the Fulani interests and culture, whereas the Hausa culture and tradition and representation has already been collapsed. It is rather unfortunate. Of recent, you saw what the Niger Middle Belt forums are saying. They have come up with a communique that we are not going to receive any order from the Sultan of Sokoto. We have our own monarchical system. We have our own kings and leaders. We can't relegate them. Why go for a total stranger, an alien who does not represent our culture, who doesn't understand our culture and interests? And as such, we can continue to be loyal or subject ourselves as the subject of Sultan of Sokoto. He doesn't have an overriding control over us, and we are henceforth disengaging with his royalty and whatever. We have our own independent ethnic nationality and monarchical system, those who represent us. So Sultan of Sokoto should not be a voice speaking for the indigenous communities of the Middle Belt Forum. They are just realizing it very late why the Fulanis have, they are very smart and have taken that advantage to control the economic resources and political decisions in the name of the North, whereas they are projecting the interests of the Fulanis. And suddenly they have realized, wow, we are not even one. We thought we are Northerners. When it matters most, we know that the ethnic interest is what plays out. And as such, we are not part of the North or of the Arewa Forum and the rest of them. No, count us out of the Arewa arrangements or whatever being controlled by the Sultan from the caliphate of the Fulani seat of power. We can no longer subject ourselves to the control and leadership of the Sultan. We have our own monarchical system, we have our own kings, and the king will remain relevant, and we are going back to our roots. Everybody is now pointing to the roots. We are going back to our roots. We must preserve our roots, our cultural heritage, our monarchical system of governance, which the Ooni of Ife of recent have understood that if they fail to rise, possibly his dynasty and culture as the custodian of the Yoruba culture and heritage might definitely come to extinction or must be maybe abrogated and replaced with the Fulani monarchical system of government, which the Sultan of Sokoto has an overriding influence, just as what is happening in Kwara today, in Lorraine, how they lost in Lorraine because of the greedy nature of the Afonja, who sold out his own people, betrayed the interest reposed on him, the confidence reposed on him by the Yoruba monarchical system of governance, invited the Fulanis, and eventually they killed him and take over the dynasty. That is just the case. A betrayer will never be trusted. When you betray your own people, definitely you'll be the next target of the enemy. They will get away with you, deal with you, and eventually take over the heritage of your people. So Ooni of Ife, in event of this realities, is trying to say, we are not going to play to the gallery. We must rise and defend ourselves. Otherwise, a repeat of what happened in Lorraine might be a case. But we hope that will not happen. We're going back to our roots. We're activating whatever we needed to activate. Why the people, of course, who are coming to invade are already at the state of preparation. That is another case. Why you are still preparing, the people are ready to overrun you. They are not, because time is running out. They have limited time or response time to achieve whatever mission they have. Well, I hope the Ooni of Ife possibly have sent the message prior to this time. Possibly there may be some work behind the scene that is going on. Let me know your own take regarding this development. What do you think about this latest move? It is no longer an issue of hide and seek because it is glaring now as the Yorubas are seeking every means possible to return back to their ancestral way of protection and defense and fighting war and getting themselves ready for the evil days is ahead of them. Of course, almost imminent. Let's have your own take regarding this. It's about the issue of survival, and now it is no longer politics, issue of survival, and if you're not ready, you might be overrun, and history, of course, will now be made or whatever happens. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more political updates.